Have you ever wondered how managing multi-million dollar accounts can completely redefine your approach to client success? What if I told you that there's strategies and tips gained from working with high value clients that can completely transform your approach to everything client management? Well, stick around because in this video, we're going to be going over key insights that I've learned so that it can save you from making the same costly mistakes, but also help your business drive exceptional results. Welcome back to Client Success Media, where we do deep dives into strategies that help businesses improve their processes, communications, retention, and overall client experience. And in this video in particular, we're going to be highlighting some of the lessons that I've learned from working with million-dollar accounts that have sculpted my approach to client success. And these lessons are not only crucial for high-value customers, but they're important so you can avoid the pitfalls that I went through and achieve higher customer loyalty. So without any further ado, let's dive in. Lesson number one is the power of personalization. There is no one size fits all solution for every customer in your client base. I'm going to repeat that one more time. There is no one size fits all approach or solution for everyone in your client base. Every customer is a little bit different and their experience needs to be tailored that way. You have to figure out how each customer works, the industries that they're working in, as well as the type of client they are. You need to be able to personalize your approach to create a stickier client relationship and overall create some intrigue from your client on what's coming next. Lesson number two, be proactive and not reactive. Many years ago, I heard a quote that stuck with me. An ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure. What that means is being proactive and not waiting for something to come to you is always going to get you farther ahead. What I mean by this is creating a cadence with your clients where you're constantly reaching out and not just waiting for them to reach you when the sky comes falling down or when they have a real issue that they need addressed. By being proactive, you're able to get ahead of a lot of issues and a lot of concerns that clients might have. What being proactive really does is it puts you at the forefront of the client. When they have a competitor that reaches out and is starting to pitch them on a new product or service, by you constantly reaching out previously, that customer might be thinking of you before making any kind of decision or switching to the competition. Being proactive is also when a customer has an issue and they think of you before thinking of somebody else. They look at you as an asset and a resource to their organization and not just another salesperson. By being proactive, you can build relationships a lot quicker and a lot more meaningful than if you were just waiting for their calls to come in, you solve an issue, and then you try having a 5 or 10 minute catch-up conversation afterwards. You're probably going to learn some things by doing that, but you're not going to learn nowhere near as much as you would if you were just proactively reaching out via emails and calls and making sure you have a reason behind those reach outs, whether it's recent support tickets that you saw or there's an email campaign that you think might actually suit them. Having a reason behind that reach out is crucial as well. Nobody wants a person reaching out just to say, hey, how's it going? They have 1,000,001 things going on, so being proactive is important, but make sure you have something to reach out with when you're being proactive. Moving on to lesson number three, build unshakable trust. In business, trust is currency, and the moment you lose that trust amongst your client base, you lose everything. If you are making promises to a client or if you're in a negotiation phase and you agree on a deal, make sure you stick to that deal. Trust is everything. So if you start reneging on different deals that you've agreed with clients on, that's going to break that trust. If you are making offers to clients that later on they come back with and you're not being a man or a woman of your word and you're constantly changing it up or bait and switching them, that's going to break that trust that you have with the client. Trust takes a long time to build, but takes seconds to ruin. And there's plenty of people around the world that will repeat exactly what I just said. It takes years to build trust with your clients and seconds to ruin it. So going out of your way and emphasizing the need to build unshakable trust is critical for any business. And then that leads me into lesson number 4. Consistency is key. And what I mean by consistency, do what you say you're going to do. If you promise a customer that you're going to reach out at a certain time on a certain date, reach out. If you tell a customer that you're going to have a solution for their problem by a certain timeline, make sure you have that update or that solution. Consistency is key. When you make a promise, stick to it. When you tell a customer, this is the deadline that I expect to have the solution to you by, make sure you actually meet that deadline and you're not constantly pushing it back. Consistency is everything. And if a customer sees that you're not consistent, or if you say one thing and do another, or if you provide a deadline and you're constantly missing it, that client's going to start expecting you to always miss every deadline. And that's not how you want a relationship to go. So building trust is critical, but also consistency is key. When you have trust and you're consistent, that is a recipe for a winning relationship right there. So make sure you are staying consistent. That could be reaching out to your clients on a weekly or monthly cadence. That could be working on email campaigns or marketing campaigns for your clients so that they constantly have new sales leads coming in. That could be as easy as just reaching out whenever there's new support tickets just to check in with your clients. Consistency is everything. And if a customer knows that they're top of mind for you, they are always going to go that little bit extra for you, or they're going to give you that extra leniency when you really need it, or when there's a real escalation and you're working towards a solution. They might not pound on you as hard as they would if you constantly drop the ball every which way leading up to this issue. So remember, you got to build trust, but you also have to stay consistent. And that leads me into lesson number 5. Stay flexible, but stay firm. And what I mean by that is set expectations. Early on in the relationship, you should be setting expectations for what that client can expect moving forward. Early on, when I started my career, my first phone calls with any client that came out of onboarding was an expectation call. Realistically, we would label it as an introduction call or whatever you would want to name it, but it was an expectation call. I was reaching out and setting up a meeting so that I could lay down what my role requires, what my role entails, and then what you can reach out to me for. Outside of those items, I provided them other resources that they could utilize to get answers to their questions or get help when they needed it. So being able to set those expectations very early on in any relationship is going to be critical to the longevity of that relationship in the future. So when you're selling a customer, don't overpromise them. Don't tell them you're going to give them the world and then, 6 months later you're handing them a globe. That's not going to work. When you make promises, stick to them. And when you're in that sales process originally, make sure that what you're saying to that client can actually be implemented. We've all met the salesperson who will say whatever it takes to get the deal done. And then once that client's finally onboarded into the system, somebody else is having to deal with it. So by creating that culture within your organization of setting expectations very early on, whether that's in the initial sales cycle or that's in the onboarding stage, or maybe they've moved out of onboarding and they've moved into working with an account manager or a client success manager, every step of the way, each department should be setting expectations on what the client can expect, on what the customer is going to receive, and then when they're going to receive that. So if I'm in client success or account management and an account comes over for onboarding, maybe my first call with them is going to be outlining how I work. These are the tasks that I'm able to assist with. These are the tasks that I'm not able to assist with. My role is blah, 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 strategic partner or a sales representative or a marketing associate. But I am not a technical support rep or I'm not a engineer. You kind of see where I'm going with this. So by setting that expectation early in every stage of the process for the client, they know what to expect, because when they're working with somebody that's on the onboarding side, their expectations are going to be completely different than when they're working with an account manager. Or if you're working with someone in sales, your experience and approach to working with a salesperson is going to be completely different than working with someone in marketing. So it's really critical to be able to set expectations early and stay firm to those expectations, but also being a little flexible. You have to think every company starts from zero and they got to where they are now by being flexible and adjusting when the client needed. You have to stay flexible but stay firm. You have to be adaptable. You have to be willing to bend over a little bit when a customer needs you to, even when it's outside of the scope of your regular role or what your company does. You'll notice that some of the best ideas are generated when customers are having working sessions with companies. So maybe a company is coming to you and they already have your product or they already have your service, but there's a feature set that you don't offer that they're really interested in. Or maybe there's an integration that they would love to have that would make their business even more efficient and profitable. Well, sometimes having those flexible conversations or being willing to bend over backwards and explore other avenues you may not have already, that could open the doors for even more revenue later down the line. Who knows? Maybe that feature set the client's interested in could be a huge revenue generator for you with other clients in your base. What if that idea that the customer has, 10 other clients have, and they've just been waiting on, but haven't had someone that's proactive to get that feedback from them? So you have to stay firm, but you also have to be a little bit flexible. And obviously, every industry and company is going to be a little bit different, and that's going to be determined by the ELT team or by your board of directors. But really, at the end of the day, you have to be adaptable and you have to be willing to adjust slightly when a client needs. But having processes in place that are stringent, that it's kind of like a horse with blinders. You know you have to go this way. The moment you start veering off over here, that's outside of your role, and now you're becoming distracted, and now you're not able to do what you need to do best, and that's generating revenue, retaining clients, creating a better customer experience, you name it. And this leads me into, I would say, the best but probably the most underutilized of the lessons so far, and that's leveraging data. If you have a client base, you have copious amounts of data around those clients that can help you either retain clients that you're losing, either sell more products and services to existing clients that don't already have them. You name it, it opens the doors for a lot of different avenues. But what you have to do is you have to know how to leverage that data to your advantage. And at the end of the day, data-driven decisions aren't optional. They're mandatory. You have to use the data that you're presented from your existing client base to make new decisions moving forward. Leveraging data is going to be critical for your company exceeding in this kind of competitive landscape that we're in. Avoid the guesswork by leveraging data. By having the data, you're able to see maybe this geographic region is utilizing this service or product the most. Maybe that's a way for you to capitalize and create a custom offer or a limited time offer with some urgency for them to take advantage of. Or if you're using the data, maybe you're able to look at feedback from support tickets and you're able to find, all right, these are the most common trending problems that our customers are calling into support about. Let's take these top 3 things and let's narrow down what really is the culprit, and do we have any solutions or features that might fix these issues, or is there a fix that we already have that we just haven't implemented it? Using data-driven insights can be a game changer for your business, whether that's just increasing client sentiment because you have a little bit more information that you can leverage to make their experience better, or that's creating products and feature sets for the whole entire organization based off of feedback you've received from support tickets or engineering tickets, you name it. Leveraging data can give you the competitive advantage you're needing. And when I was a CSM, utilizing the data that I had within my existing portfolio made all the difference in being able to find different kind of sales, references, case studies, you name it. It made all the difference in the world. So I would definitely not skimp on leveraging data. Use it to your advantage, and you might be surprised at what kind of insights you can gain about your customers when you really start diving deep into it. If any of the 6 lessons that we went over in today's video resonated with you, or you're just passionate about growing your business and improving your client experiences, do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, click the little bell icon so you can get notified of any new videos in the future, and drop a like. But on top of that, drop a comment below. Out of the 6 lessons presented, which one do you think is going to be the most impactful for your business? And if you have one that I didn't list, share it. Maybe we can all learn and grow together. You never know. Your next approach could really be 1 or 2 comments away. Your support means the world to me and drives me to keep making these videos. So once again, thank you, and let's move on. As I mentioned really early on in this video, the lessons that I've learned throughout my career of working with multi-million-dollar accounts has completely changed the way I approach client success, let alone client management. So if you're not working to personalize your communications to clients, if you're not trying to be proactive and reaching out to clients when they're not expecting it, or trying to build that trust whenever you do have the time to work with those clients and staying consistent in those approaches and how you work with those customers, you're just another service provider at the end of the day. There is nothing different, and there's nothing that gives you the competitive advantage that you need to separate yourself. The goal with me highlighting all 6 of these lessons and really narrowing down on these 6 in particular is so that you can avoid the headaches and the mistakes that I had to make throughout my career. By even using 1 or 2 of the lessons that I provide in this video, I guarantee your organization is going to see dividends from those approaches and those strategy changes. And if you were to implement all 6, I sure hope you come back and comment what differences it made to your organization and your business. I would love to hear real life feedback and see which lesson really impacted you the most. Once again, my name is Matt. This is Client Success Media. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and I'll see you on the next video.